What do you disagree with him? What do you disagree with the president?
You know, there's a very long list.
Did you vote for him?
No.
You voted for Kamala.
Yeah.
Did you vote for Biden?
I think so.
Okay. So you voted for Biden. You think Trump would have stopped the war if he was president, but then yet you still voted for Kamala. What prompted you want to vote for Kamala over Trump, even though you know he could stop the war?
You know, in general, I think a big part of what I believe is that I think there's a real lack of compassion. I think there's a lack of honesty.
Can you be specific? You can't just say that and not give me specific. You got to be pretty specific. What do you mean by lack of compassion and dishonesty? Because Kamala Harris always tells the truth, and we know Joe does. Always, they never lie. But what do you think with Trump?
I just think there's a long list of things that he's lied about that I don't have off the tip of my tongue. And I think, you know, I believe strongly in racial justice, and I don't think that Trump does.
Racial justice?
Yeah.
He was the first guy that did the prison reform that even Van Jones went and stood behind him crying, saying, "I cannot believe this just happened." He did that.
What? This was the first.
Oh yeah, you don't remember that? Do you remember that or no?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anybody that's about, you know, the racial injustice side, it's Trump. It's not, you know. This is a guy that's done a very good job in that. But I want to know specific from your side. What is it? Because you're not you know, when you're as successful as you are, you can't wing answers. You cannot wing answers. Now, let me tell you why you can't wing answers. Because how many, like if I was to check right now, Rob, can you go to ChatGPT? How many businesses in America went from $0 to $1 billion in revenue? Okay. So if we go, how many businesses go from $0 to $1 billion in revenue? The exact number, fast growing. I want to know how many total companies is what I want to know. Can you see that? How many total companies have gone from $0 to $1 billion in revenue? Okay. It's got to be a big number. I don't know if they have the number or not. It's got to be a lot of them. Okay. You build the number one ice cream company in America. Yeah, you can say luck. You're very creative. Just right now you did that. You know, your mind is a creative mind to come up with certain things. You can't just say lies and certain things and not be specific. I guess maybe the question is better to ask you the following way. Who inspired you politically when you were younger? Like, who was your hero when you were a kid?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King? He was your hero?
Yeah.
Why was he your hero?
Because he was fighting for justice and, you know, fighting for people who had been oppressed and screwed. And he was a very, you know, a really inspirational leader.
He was an inspirational leader to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Was there a book that you read? Was there something that influenced your politics? Did you read Communist Manifesto?
No.
You've never read Communist Manifesto? I've read the book.
How is it?
You've never read it?
No.
Ben.
What can I say?
Okay, all right. Well, listen, you're missing
read
out,
what
buddy.
you read. I was probably reading ice cream books.
I think if you read Communist Manifesto, you may go to communism. I mean, you're one step away from socialism. But was there anything? Was there anything?
I want to know why you're so. I mean, socialism is a word that gets used to refer to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And So I think the old or official definition of socialism is that the state owns all the means of production. I mean, I don't favor that. But I
favor 80% taxes.
Marginal tax rate, yeah.
So you think, let's process that. I'm actually curious to know what you'll say here. So when somebody like you says 80% taxes, you know what you're really saying? You think the U.S. government can do better with our money than we can do with our money. That's what you're saying? You think Congress and Senate can do better with our taxpayer money than we can?
Well, if you had a marginal tax rate of 80% on the, millionaires and above, you wouldn't have so many people with so much money that were influencing our elections and our legislation in order to make it better for their own selves. So, yeah, I think that it would certainly decrease the spread between rich and poor. And,
you know how many,
and I think, you think about education, you think about childcare, you think about health care.
Yeah.
These are things that, especially things like Medicare for all, it needs to be, some things need to be done by the government.
Okay, so let me get this straight. And so just 10 minutes ago, you are speaking to the audience who is loving watching you, and you showed how much the government wastes money. Then 10 minutes later, you say you trust our money going to the government, that they'll do a better job than staying in our pocket. Do you know the average person watching this? They're so confused right now. They're about to have a drink right now. That's a confuser. You just confuse the shit out of them. They're sitting there saying, so let me understand you, man. I really want to understand you. I like you. I eat your ice cream. You seem like a really nice, and you sincerely seem like a nice guy. And I'm really enjoying this. How can you 1 minute say the government wastes money and next minute say let's pay them more money because we think they can do a better job with it?
Because I think that both things are true.
It doesn't work that way.
I think about my own business. As Ben & Jerry's was getting larger and larger, I was saying, we're wasting all this money. This thing is wrong, that thing is wrong, it's leaking over here, it's, there's something that's not working right over there. I couldn't believe how much money was being wasted.
Okay.
And then I came to understand that, there's some waste in most anything that human beings do.
Oh, but there's one tricky thing here. Why do you think you were overly protective of the money that was being wasted? Why?
Because I needed to make a profit.
Because it's your money.
Well, it's
your money. That's why. Because you busted your ass to make that money to create jobs. So now imagine these guys are spending $90,000 on a bag of washers that at Lowe's I can buy for $329. Okay? You want me to trust them to raise taxes? Hell to the no. When I see Doge and I see the money stuff that comes back, you know what I tell myself? How soon are you guys lowering taxes? Because you guys have no clue what you're doing with our money. That's what it makes me think about. Why would I give you more money that you have shown over and over again that you like to waste it? Because, so you give them more money. You don't think there's going to be more military contractors? You don't think there's going to be more big pharma coming in wanting contracts for people to get unhealthy so they can sell $100 billion of vaccines so Pfizer's revenue goes up $100 billion? You think COVID helped that Pfizer? You think COVID was a very good event for Pfizer stock? What do you think? You think COVID, Rob, isn't it true that even Pfizer CEO didn't even take the vaccine? But hey, the rest of us had to. You think that was a profitable event for them? You think they won another COVID? You think they won another pandemic? Of course. Why? Because the money goes, there was one of the guys from the big pharmaceutical companies that never took the vaccine. I just don't know which one it was. You don't think that funnels back through? No, I think the American people, the reason why they love Doge is because they're done with wasted expenditure and they don't trust the government. It's the lowest Ben it's ever been. You've been around, so you said you were born in 1951. I think you said 51, right? Did you say 51? A lot of wasted money from 51 till today. Look at the year you were born. Look at the trust. It was 80% is where we hit. Look where it's at right now. Okay? Lowest it's ever been. What happened? They don't trust it. They don't trust the media. They don't trust the government because they're full of shit. They keep wasting our money. And you want to sit here? You know what I'd love to see you do? Go run on the campaign of raising taxes to 80% marginal. See what happens today. Let's have Bernie Sanders go campaign and see what happens today.
Who's going to be against raising taxes to 80% marginal on incomes over several $1 million?
A lot of people. It's my money. Why should I give it to you?
How many? I mean,
by the way, the people that are creating commerce who want to mind their own business like you used to when you ran your business and you try to create savings, those people are going to mind. It's easy for you to say it right now. You're in your 70s and you've already made your money to say, hey, let's do it to the guys now. I didn't get it. Now let me do it to the other guys. That's not fair.
Pick a number. Pick a number that's a reasonable number.
You have to earn the right to raise taxes. The government has to earn the moral authority to be able to say, let's raise taxes. How do you earn the moral authority? By showing what you do with the money. 7 years Pentagon hasn't been able to show our audits. They failed an audit 7 years in a row. You want us to trust the U.S. government?
There are some functions that government needs to perform.
I don't disagree, but not as much money as you want us to give to you.
Well, I mean, half the discretionary budget is going to the Pentagon. Let's cut that. I'm not suggesting we totally eliminate all weapons.
I think the president is wanting to cut. This is why he wants so many Democrats. Can you imagine? Were you a John F. Kennedy fan when you were younger?
Yeah.
His nephew went to the other side. His nephew who loved his dad and loved his uncle became an addict for 14 years because he lost his dad. And we almost lost Bobby. He eventually got so sick of what the left did and he went to the other side. So did Tulsi. So did Trump. Trump used to be a Democrat. So did Musk. Musk used to be a Democrat. So did Rogan. Rogan used to be a Democrat. He may still be. I mean, this is the most devastating season ever for Democrats, ever. Every state turned more Republican. 89 counties turned more Republican. 7 battleground states. Majority went to him. The last time that happened was 20-some years ago. This is one of those moments where Americans sat there and watched. The Democrats had control during COVID, and they tried to abuse Americans. And they said, leave us alone. Leave us alone. I don't want you to force me to do anything. And for you, Ben, a successful man like you that built an incredible business that the rest of us get to smile. You make people smile. Every time somebody has your product, they are smiling. They're happy. You know what is the most happiest the moment of my week? When I get to take my daughter to this ice cream shop in Fort Lauderdale, and she eats her ice cream, and her reaction, I melt. You produced a product that put smile on millions of people's faces. That's what you produce, because you worked your ass off, and you took advantage of the opportunities that they gave you. You saved every penny so you can pay your people better, to create a better company. You're a hero. You're a hero. And the other side likes you because you give them money, but if you didn't and you were a Republican, you would be despised by the other side. You'd be considered a rich, greedy man. And all you ever did is start a company with your best friend and turn it into what you turn it into. And that's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool that just because somebody has a dream and they go work hard and I'm supposed to go out there and feel guilty about it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them making success feel guilty. And, hey, you make too much money. You're a billionaire. You're a bad person. You're this, you're that. Let's recognize our heroes. Let's stop undermining anybody and everybody that they win. We just tarnish. Oh, he's a horrible man. Tarnish. Stop it.
I'm not about tarnishing people.
I'm not saying you, but it's a lot of people on the left. And it's enough. It's enough. It's too much. And people, honestly, though, people are tired of it. That's what happened in 2024 on November 5th.
I think a lot of what happened is that people were voting for something different. So, I mean, a lot of times you look at presidential elections and it's choosing between the least worst. And, Trump, I don't regard him really as a Republican.
I don't either.
I don't regard him as a Democrat. He, I think he's kind of more of an independent.
I agree.
And I think that's what people want.
I agree.
They want someone who's not the status quo, not the norm. And the only choice they had was Trump.
I agree. And by the way, you know what's the other thing that they were sick and tired of? Did you watch the State of the Union?
No.
Okay. So there was multiple moments that were embarrassing. One moment where the ladies on the left are wearing all these pink outfits. And President Trump says, we want to keep boys out of women's sports. None of them stood up or clapped for it. Do you agree that transgender should be competing against men, against women? Do you you think Martin Luther King, your hero, would agree with that? You think Martin Luther King would have said, yeah, you're a man, you were born a man. Yeah, so you want to go compete with women. Yeah. Yeah, no problem with that. You think Martin Luther King, who said, one day we're black boys and white, you think that man would be okay with puberty blockers? Seriously? You think your hero would be okay with puberty? I don't think so. You don't have a painting in my house. You know who's in my painting? John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, two of my heroes. Every time I've ever had an office, I've always had a picture of Martin Luther King there. He's a hero to so many of us. I just don't think he would have been with that. And then you want to teach my kids LGBTQ? If a person wants to be gay, go at it. I don't have any problem with it, but we don't need to sit there and indoctrinate. Leave it alone. That's the painting. Martin Luther King all the way to the right. I have Tupac in the painting. I have John F. Kennedy. I have Einstein. I have Lincoln. I have Milton Friedman, the Shaw, Senna, and a couple hidden messages in there. You know what's sitting on the table? They're debating a book. It's Communist Manifesto and Atlas Shrugged. Representation from both sides of the economy. Sit down and debate that. That's the painting in my club room in my house. 15-foot painting. But to me, I'd love to see someone who, for you to build a business the way you did, you have to know how to reason and use logic. If you don't, you will fail. You'll be bankrupt.
Yeah. I like that painting. And,
I do too.
What strikes me is Einstein. I mean, when you talk about logic, I mean, he said that it is not possible to simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. I think that is really, really true.
Did you?
I mean, the quote goes on to say that the very energy and resources that are necessary for the prevention of war are actually greater than preparing for war. So if you're going to prevent it, you need to use those resources to prevent it. And what? How'd you do this? What?
It's called
you
Rob.
got
He's
telepathy?
No, it's Rob. That's why Rob doesn't make $7.25 an hour. I can't give him only $7.25
From
an hour.
my mind to your screen, man, I love it.
Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New future looks bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.